Alright, so we are building a new probe. A probe? Yes, a probe. A brand new shiny probe. Now this one's got to be Kerbin launched because it's using a nuclear power plant and we don't have any uranium on the moon. But it's not going to be the most giant thing in the world, I don't think. Okay, and then we'll put... Where do we want to put the toroidal? Oh, here's what we'll do. This should look pretty cool. Now what's that giving me? Let's staple a mech jib somewhere on this thing. What's that giving me for delta V? 16,000 delta V. That should be decent enough. Figured a better place to put mech jib, but... yeah, we need a better place for mech jib. But that honestly doesn't matter much at this point. Okay. So, that's our probe. Now it starts stapling science instruments onto this thing. Alright, so I'm gonna need... that's huge. That is actually massive. And now why don't you fit? Okay, and you're a little big. That is fine. So let's move some stuff around then. Well, that's still not going to fit with the biome detector on top, is it? I mean, I could turn this thing sideways, but then it just looks silly. Yeah, because it's not nearly big enough. I'll stick you in the top. Those things are bloody heavy. Alright, so you're stuck there, you're stuck there. We don't really need that. We are going to need one of you. A couple of you. One of you. Two of you. We need to give this thing some batteries to boot. Right? Right. Because remember, you don't get electric charge if you don't have batteries. What's on this side? Oh, this stupid sensor. Oh, that's a solution now, ain't it? Hold on. Except batteries aren't collidable. Seriously? They're not collidable. Nope, they are not at all collidable. Awesome. So then, well, we could still fit the artillery sensor on. Right? At least I hope so. Holy cow. Thing is huge. Alright, so put an altimetry sensor on. And actually get it oriented correctly. There we go. Tract you back. I have a feeling there should be a science payload I could put over here, but... That's a ScanSat unit. Interesting. Alright. What else can we shove on this thing? Not really anything else. Right? No, it doesn't look like it. Alright. So we're going to mount this thing on top of our Jupiter 8 launcher, which is one of the heaviest launchers we have, and probably exceedingly overpowered for this job. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll connect the Jupiter 8. But we're going to take off the liquid boosters. And then there are 2 stages in here, aren't there? Yes. Alright, so let's start looking at propulsion. Let me get this booster figured out, and I'll bring you guys back in a little bit. Alright, here we go. This is the KSA Sundiver. Yep, 3-tier design. Probably doesn't need to be this big. I probably overbuilt it quite a bit. But, whatever. Let's give it a shot, shall we? Save. We almost forgot something here. It's a little bit high up, but that's okay. We're actually going to shift this whole thing down. And yes, that's right, in fact. Those are procedural fairings. I finally went and installed them because fitting things inside things is hard. And to be honest with you guys, I probably could build this in a way. Probably could make this a lot smaller. But we're actually using the 2nd stage, a shortened 3rd stage, and a tiny 4th stage. So these 2 stages are actually from the Jupiter 8 launcher. This is the secondary lift stage, and then this is the orbital stage. And then we then put a high-efficiency Vesta engine with a little bit of fuel on it just to complete orbital operations. So let's take this thing to launch. And hopefully I'll see you guys in orbit. Yeah, should be fun. Remember, we are in fact launching with Ferrum installed. Oh, we forgot something. We really forgot something. We forgot radiators. Yep. We forgot the radiators. I knew there was something I was missing. Alright, where can we shove them? Not very many places, actually. So the problem is that we're going to be putting this thing relatively close to the sun, as you guessed. So we're going to need that, right? The problem is... Oh. Okay. Well, that looks fine. If I take that off... And let's try sticking on some of these. Yeah, okay. So that's not great. That's better. And that gets us 48 and 51 versus if we cram on a set of these. And then we cram these guys on. There. And there. Oh, I see why you're getting stuck onto the mech jet pod. We'll tuck that in down there. So that gets us up to 57 when we're at point blank range, basically. Alright, that should be good. So why don't we staple our fairings back on. We'll use an egg-shaped fairing again. Blump. Here we go. That looks a little bit better now. Alright, so let's take this thing back out, and hopefully I'll see you guys as we're plotting our orbital burn. Alright everyone, so the Sundiver is in orbit. We are just popping out our radiators. Having a bit of issue with procedural fairings, but I suspect that I'll figure it out somehow. Okay, so let's look at our orbital path. Okay. So what we want to do is speed up relative to Kerbin and slow down relative to the sun. Now I'm just seeing if I get an approach on anything here. Because I might, burning this much delta V. No, I'm not going to. Oh, for heaven's sakes. I need a script that says, if I'm already awake, don't do that. So let's go to sub a million, alright? That should be good enough for us. And that's over 4,000 delta V. Now, how much delta V do I have aboard total? A plenty. Absolutely plenty. Okay, so let's go to estimated burn not applicable. Okay, that's fine. Absolutely fine. Let us... Well, how about we actually scrub this node? Okay. So we'll go to a Kerbin escape burn. Right. That's pretty decent. And then let's actually sep this. Oh, no. Alright, so with our primary engine, it's a 30-minute, 30-second burn. Okay. But, alright, you know what? This is going to be a pain in the rear end to actually do. Node mode, please. But that's going to be a lot less once we switch over to the Vesta VR9D. Now, we have a lot of delta V in this rocket. And a lot of it is actually in the chemical rocket stages. But that should be fine. Okay, there we go. Let's add an alarm at 1 minute. Let's kick up to time warp. It's a nice looking rocket, though. Well, kind of. It's very staggered and stepped, which I kind of like the look of, and you can tell I had to kind of fairing it up a little bit. But it should be pretty decent. So we have a VR1, we have the Vesta VR9D over there. And we don't have to be precise with this burn. This burn's really just, you know, roughly about the right time we want to be at. So sep that stage. And if we overburn a little, it doesn't really matter. Oh. That's how that works. Well, that was a little weird. My camera decided to go a little bit nuts on me. Alright, so let's scrub this burn now. Okay. Now let's see. What I want to do is I actually want to try and get myself into I actually want to try and basically run into another planet while I'm doing this. Okay. Because let's see. Anything? No. That'll actually save me a fairly decent amount of delta V if I can intercept a planet. Let me set Moho as a target here. Ooh. Almost got something. I'd have to do a plane adjust. To Moho. What excuse me. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get myself what's called a gravity assist. And a gravity assist is a really cool thing where you basically use another planet's gravity to kind of slingshot you. And there we go. Gets me to 51, and then what I can do is I can adjust afterwards. Now, how many days out is that node? Oh, gosh. Okay. So that's just straight up not worth it. Alright, that's what I wanted to know. Nope, that's about a year out. Alright, why don't we just let her get out of the SOI. And we'll see what sort of a track she ends up on there. Because I remember now that it could be kind of, there we go, alright. Okay, so now we can actually start shrinking. We can actually start plotting this maneuver out. So now that we're outside the Kerbin system, there we go. So now that we're out, what we can do is we can actually start getting some science here. Whoa. Utterly dominate it. Nice. Okay, let's keep that data. In the meantime, let us deploy these two things so we actually look like a space probe. And let's put ourselves onto our node. We have a 4-minute burn coming up on this. Because I can't find where my bloody... where I stuck those, thermometers. Of course, I can also not remember how you pan the camera. And why it seems to be possessed with that engine. For that matter, why it's spinning in circles. Let's see. Come on. Oh, for heaven's sakes. That's a trick you can use, by the way. I don't know why it started that spin, but that is a trick you can use. Of course, I also forget that these probe cores basically have no torque on them whatsoever. How do you pan the bloody camera in this game? I always forget how you actually pan the camera. View in, view out. Docking, toggle nav ball. Ships. Part info, EVA, VAB. Rotate. Yes, yes, I know all that. Staging. Why can't I find it? Oh, it's MMB, middle mouse. Okay. There we go. That's how you do that. Okay. So we can actually start the burn now. Let's get some of this crap out of our screen, shall we? Okay. So this is going to be a burn. A very long burn. An exceptionally long burn, one might even say. Yeah, an exceptionally long burn. Okay, so why don't I let this burn run, and I will see you guys probably in the next episode when this thing is around the sun. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Mr. Kassarian. I want to thank you all for watching. And, yeah, if you guys like the episode, let me know. If you don't like the episode, let me know why you don't, and I will endeavor to fix it. So, this has been Mr. Kassarian. As always, guys, happy flying. And good morning, Kerbinauts. This is Mr. Kassarian, and welcome back. Hopefully you noticed that my voice sounds a little bit different. I gave up and got myself a new microphone. It's a Shure SM58. It is basically the audio standard for recording. It's what I used to use when I was doing sound tech work. I finally gave up, decided that the blue mic just wasn't cutting it. Honestly, it's just way too sensitive. We've also added some new mods. And researched them all. Oh, thank goodness. We added the Derp Pod. Survival not guaranteed. Yay, standalone lifeboat. Yay. We have some more stuff in survivability. Radial airbags. Nice. Let's see what else we have here. We should have a whole bunch of stuff, to be honest with you. Interstellar's still here. Oh yeah, what does flight look like? Wait a second. So this stuff looks a little bit different. Yeah, there's a reason for that. The primary reason is that I may have gone and updated one of my mods. In fact, I may have updated a mod that I was fairly certain I would never be able to update. I updated B9. Wait, what was that? Cass, what mod did you update again? Yeah, I updated B9 Aerospace. It has now been updated. And I am very, very pleased to see that, too. We don't have to worry about... yes, Bob mentioned magic-powered screens. Which means that, yes, it is updated. And it is, in fact, using all of the fun stuff that we have. Including a short adapter. That's a new mod. That's a new addition. Yeah, prop fans. Those are cool. Radial jet engines. Those are cool, too. We also have some other stuff from other new mods. I don't know if I have them yet, but we'll see. But that mostly deals with asteroids. Now, one thing that's going to happen is I'm going to have to bring our astronauts back from that space station. Because... yeah. So I finished it up, and right before this, there was a video basically showing the station. And I'll do this off camera. But suffice to say, it isn't working out great. It just isn't. So that's one thing. But I was figuring that in the meantime, we could work on a new probe. Now, the station has actually been launching using a somewhat redone version of the Jupiter launcher. Though I've been working on it mostly in my save, so I'm not certain if I actually have it here. But as you can see, we have all of the cool stuff. Derp. And the derp propulsion module. I love the derp. It's also a decoupler, too, so it ejects itself. Which is probably a really good thing if you're, from my flying skills. Right, because now that can be selected. Oh, right, this stuff. This is from USI Astra. So this is really cool. But we haven't gotten there yet. And is my sound wicked loud, or is it just me? Alright, there we go. I think it's just me, but I would rather not find out. Alright, so what I think we're going to do for this episode is we're going to build ourselves a... Do I want to build a space plane, or do I want to build a new station module? It's a good question. It's a very good question, actually. Because I want to have some of the capabilities I had. Yeah, we're going to build a new station. Alright. So, let's start launching stuff to orbit. And I really want to launch this thing, which is the logistics hub. And the logistics hub is going to be the core of what we're working on here. But it's not going to be the only bit that we're launching up into space. I just want to see... That's 19 tons. Okay. So, that's a bit big. Let's go with that's just a little bit big. Yeah. Okay. Just a little bit big. Now I'm not certain if I want to launch that up as the first part of this thing. No, we won't. Okay. So what we'll launch up instead is we'll launch the power plant. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to use any of the MKS, OKS stuff because I honestly am having a bit of trouble getting it working. It's really kind of being a pain for me. So we're not going to launch that yet. We're going to leave the MKS, OKS stuff safely on the ground. That's 43 tons. That's a little bit more sensible. Okay, so that's about 10 tons. And, yeah, so see, I have the Jupiter 8 launcher here. Let me fix this, because this is not the Jupiter 8 short that I built. Alright, so the first thing that has to happen is this crap has to come off. Then... what's that? That's the Vesta rocket motor, isn't it? I think, though, that I was just using... Hold on. Let's go utility. Oh, I don't have the vertical storage stuff. That's fine. Let's go to control. Slap a mech jub onto this thing. Yeah, we don't need most of this to boost us up. Alright. In fact, this entire upper stage is going. So this is going to be the Jupiter 8 short booster. And then let's take a look here. So let's go aerodynamics. We need to add a proc fairing to it, which we're going to... .5, right? Yeah, 2.5. 2.5 meter procedural fairing. Okay, so that should connect nicely like that, unless I make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so that's going to shield that up for me. And yes, this is the Jupiter 8 launcher, by the way. So then we're going to need to add, at the very least, a docking port senior. Come on, where are you? I know you're in here somewhere. And I think that, like the previous one we put up, ooh, miniature blast furnace, shiny. How big is the blast furnace? Not that big. 19. Ooh, that's a bit heavy. Okay. A lot of cool parts in here. We also have airbags. Airbags are cool. Let me think here. What do I want to put in there? We are in utility. Of course, now the problem is I'm having trouble finding the stock parts. There we go. I want to put that on, right? Okay. That's good. And then, what is our payload mass right now? Not display. Okay, so then... Because remember, we want these things to be usable. Let's go with usable. Look at that. Oh, right, because they have the fuel switch parts, right? What do I want? Where is it? Where is it? Aha! However, we're going to pull that off. Alt-click that. Put that back on. Reattach that. We can get our... I want to be able to turn off EL launch pads. There we go. Because it's really just taking up space on my screen now. Why can't I? Oh, this bug. Right, I forgot about this bug. Ugh. Sometimes when you do the copy stuff, it just doesn't... Yeah, because see, that's going to duplicate the whole darn thing. Okay, so we'll just have to do this ourselves then. Not a problem. But again, this is another hub module. This is going to be one of two, actually. Okie dokie. Come on. And again, it's a hub, so we want to actually have hub bits on it. The only good thing about doing this is that you get really good at figuring out how KSP does its rotations. There we go. Let's see if I can not go past it 10 times. If we can get that out of the way now. And yeah, I know, I don't need to show this to you guys, but... One, I actually enjoy this process. And two, you guys get to see what I'm actually working on. Now, the real question for me to ask now... Ah, there. I almost messed that up. There we go. Oh, that already has one on it. Oops. Now, the real question for me to ask here is how much weight am I already looking at? No. I want full MechJet vessel info. Alright, hold on. It's only 19 tons. All right. So this launcher should be able to lift a good amount of weight up into the atmosphere. And I mean a good amount of weight. So what we're going to do... because this station isn't going to have the TAC, the life support system already built into it. So we're going to go with a carbon extractor. So that takes in carbon dioxide, outputs oxygen and waste. And this processes my wastewater down. Could do that. But I'd rather just use the carbon extractor. And then we also need a large waste container. Now, mind you, I know for a fact these things are going to be bloody heavy. But... there we go. There we go. 24.5 tons. This should be more than capable... derp. This should be more than capable of putting that into orbit. But we're not done yet. It's always the problem with one of these builds. Because... stop, get out of there. If we pull up the thermal helper, you can see that we have a problem. Right? We don't have any radiators on this assembly whatsoever. So we need to fix that. Now, I don't think the huges, yeah, those are a bit too huge. But I can staple these on. I need to remember to disable that before I start recording. Actually, let's stick them on down here. That's going to give me decent efficiency. It might make docking a challenge on occasion, but... that should work. And then I can always shove some small ones in. Inside of that, right? Yeah, how much is that giving me? Oh, that's giving me 0.0%. That doesn't even matter. Okay. So finally, we're at 27.5 tons. And I want to throw some batteries into this thing. Now, if you notice, this module is actually going up with, excuse me, without RCS. And the reason for that, what is this thing considering? That, okay. And the reason I'm doing that is actually because it doesn't matter. For this stage at any rate. It really does. Though I do want to put some lights on this thing. I'm going to have to move that. Do this. Ka-chunk. Put that on top. Ka-chunk. And ka-chunk. Yeah, collision mesh issue with that, but whatever. Alright, that should do the trick. So, that's stable now. Let us go and staple the fairings onto this thing. Okay, I want to use an egg-shaped fairing. Blink. Quite a payload. Now let's strut this baby up. And we should be good for launch. Alright, so let's go take a look. I just want to add some... What the? What? Did it just... I'll be right back. Alright guys, it actually turns out that we are way over time for today. So I want to thank you all for watching. This has been Mr. Kassarian. Next time this thing will be in orbit, and hopefully I'll have more to report. So as always guys, happy flying.